It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
I want you to welcome back to the program who has previously done our Conservative Future segment before. We have Mr. Martin Rawls is back with us. Martin, it's always great to have you on, sir.
Yes, sir. Glad to be with you this morning.
Yes. So, Martin, first of all, let's talk about what you're doing these days. You're working on the campaign to reelect Congressman Rick Crawford. Is that right?
I am 2-3 months in now. Staying pretty busy with that. I'm sure you know the 1st District is very large in size. 30 counties, Missouri border to the Louisiana border, over 18,000 square miles. So a lot of driving, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Getting signage up is a big deal. Meetings, pretty much the whole campaign dude list.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. What are you hearing from people on the ground there? I mean, like, what are they saying about how things are going, how they think the country's going?
It's a pretty positive response, unlike, contrary to belief of what the other side has to say. Pretty much everywhere you still see MAGA hats, you still see Trump signs. In rural Arkansas, I think the support for Trump and the Republican Party is going to be outstanding.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy, you know, in this world today, there's always stuff going on. I mean, every single day. I mean, it's just so much fun to watch and to cover. But I do want to talk about the Democrats real quick. You know, with the midterms coming up, Martin Rawls, what do you see the Democrat agenda? I mean, what do they want to do if they get back in power?
Well, everything I can hear, this Medicare for all, health care for all scheme, and a report came out, I guess it was about a week or two ago, and it stated that their plan, if enacted, which that's not going to happen, but it would increase the debt over 10 years. It's like $32 trillion. And I don't think anybody in Arkansas is going to stand for that, yet alone around in these other red states.
Yeah, you know, and you have that socialist Ocasio-Cortez. You know, that's what she wants to do too. You know.
Yeah. Oh. And her supporters that she's supporting haven't done too well. She's kind of been quiet. Needs to go quiet, probably.
Well, you know, there was a comedian, far leftist, who's an admitted socialist, Louis Black, and he was quoted in the publication that I read as saying that the Democrat Party doesn't need to go the Ocasio-Cortez route. They don't need to go full socialist. They have to come back to the center, and then they have to gradually move towards socialism, because I think, and that's such an admission that they have to nudge us. They can't just outright say we want to socialize everything, because he knows that the American people won't go for that.
Yeah. There's definitely not many people that are wanting to support that, for sure. And then, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then the other opposition is they're saying all these farmers are hating the president, disliking, and everything else. And there was another poll I read, a report, actually CNBC came out with, and it's the Trump's rural approval rate in key farm states, so either on the rise or staying neutral. So that's a false belief also, that I haven't heard many farmers out there, unless it's the liberal farmers, which you're never going to change their minds anyway, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But I think they're saying, they're absorbing what's happening, but they're still supporting and believing that it's going to continue to get better.
Yeah, you know, and the president did announce that, that subsidy program, to help. That's a possibility out there, but, what I have been harping on for a while, Martin, is the fact that the Chinese are in this country. The FBI has investigations in all 50 states, and they're stealing $600 billion a year in intellectual property. Just 3 weeks ago, two Chinese nationals were indicted here in Arkansas for stealing our rice technology from down in Stuttgart. I mean, this is real-world stuff here. And so it's a lot larger, this trade war or economic saber-rattling. There's a lot of there's a lot of things that the Trump administration is trying to do to stand up for American sovereignty. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a good. Tired of being in last, and now it's time to get back doing business with us leading the way.
Talk a little bit. We're talking with Martin Rawls. He's a young conservative, and we always like to talk to, really the future of the conservative movement when we do these segments. Can you talk a little bit about immigration? What are your thoughts on immigration policies, where we need to go with that?
I guess that would be a pretty interesting topic over the past few months as well. When they have nothing else to talk about, I guess they bring that up, the other side. But I believe that if we can't selectively, if we continue to allow illegals into the country, we will never truly be safe, in my opinion. I mean, with the groups like MS-13, the groups like the drug cartels that can just cross at will without having border security, I think, which the border wall is getting constructed, as Trump says this morning, I think, or last night. And we must continue to invest in border security. I think we need more border patrol for sure. I even saw on Fox the other night that drones from these cartels are flying over to see where the agents are, and that's not good either. Because those things can move a lot faster than any person can, for sure. And
I think that securing the border, like you said, is vital. I think it's one of it's one of President Trump's key promises to the American people. So I'm glad that he, the wall is being built, but it is we do have to have funding for it. One of the concepts of MAGA that I've realized, of Make America Great Again, some of the stuff we're talking about is going back to the basic responsibilities that this country has to its citizens, and that is to secure our borders for our safety, for national defense purposes. And right now, there are places on that border that in the past have been some of the most dangerous places on the face of the planet. And this is supposed to be the greatest country in the world. So I think part of that agenda is saying, you know what, if you're inside our borders, we're going to stop the threat of outside, foreign people from enacting violence and drugs, human trafficking. They found a van full of torsos during the Obama administration. Very, very sick, violent, evil stuff. That needs to stop when it's happening on our own soil.
Yes. I mean, every day just about you see somebody getting raped, killed, murdered from an illegal. It's got to come to stop in order for us to be safe in America, like you said.
Talk a little bit about how, just in general, I mean, you have Trump's policies, you have a lot of those policies that are outside the box, and they seem to be working, I mean, whether it is the tariffs or whether it's just, going directly to the American people on Twitter, getting beyond that mainstream media narrative. I mean, his policies appear to be working.
Yeah, very well. I mean, the economy is booming in most places. It's pretty impressive when you have more jobs than you have people. The unemployment is at a huge low. The tax cut that they put in place, 90% of people are taking home more money. And then the GDP was over 4% just a few weeks ago. And he says he wants it even higher. And that's, I mean, with to continue to use his policies, Republican policies, I think we have a lot of great things to run for in November if we continue to do those things.
Yeah, there's no question about that. We're talking with Martin Rawls. Hey, in your work with the Crawford campaign, I did notice that, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but the chair of the House Intelligence Committee that Congressman Rick Crawford sits on, Devin Nunes, is coming to Arkansas. Is that right?
He is. September the 11th today.
Yes.
Or the 12th. Yeah, September 11th. We're looking forward to that for sure. Hope we can get people motivated and get ready for the midterms, as people seem to not be as motivated for the midterms as presidential elections. Yeah.
Well, and I think people are going to come out in force. I think people have seen what's happened over the last 2 years with the media constantly trying to tell the people of Arkansas as well as everybody else in flyover country, somehow President Trump beat Hillary in some sort of fluke because it was, the Russians, and so he's not legitimate president. I mean, it's really thumbing their nose at every American that voted for him. And so I think people are going to come out and make a huge statement this November.
It's just like a slap in the face every day. And I agree with you. I think it's going to be – there's not going to be any blue wave, in my opinion. I think we're going to take the seat in the Senate and control the House.
Martin Rawls, I appreciate it, sir. It's always great to have you on the program.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Good morning to you, folks. This is Conduit News Radio, and we're going to take a break and be back here in just a moment, cover some more news. Don't go anywhere.